From the Fox Studios in downtown Panama City, it's News View with Lee Sullivan.
Let's talk about your endangered freedoms, news and views with an attitude. Good evening, it's News View. I'm Lee Sullivan. Thank you for allowing me in. Have the privilege of visiting again with Ron Hart. Much to the chagrin of his advisors, he has come on for the second time. And down here in Rosemary Beach, you will see from time to time when you read his piece in the News Herald that he has actually either written it from Rosemary or pretended that he wrote it from Rosemary. But thank you for coming back on.
Great to be here.
It is good to have you. It's good to, and so much to talk about. I don't want to spend all my time on your last column. Let's take some of the high points. Last night I was talking about Mississippi being first in the fat parade, followed closely by Alabama, the SEC thing, I think.
Exactly.
Okay,
exactly.
Tennessee's about like fourth.
Got to be there.
But we got the FDA is going to save us.
Yeah, they are. They're going to put fat labels. They're focusing on fat labels now on food. They're going to have require the issuers of food, the makers of food, to put either no fat, low fat, or fat with a great personality. That's going to be the labels going forward. Obama wants to control everything that we do, the food that we eat, the things that we read, how we think,
Cars we drive,
healthcare, cars we drive. I mean, it's Orwellian, and it's very scary.
It is. It is.
So
it's a shame when those things that you enjoyed reading when you were in high school and college began to resonate with the truth.
Exactly.
And so it is, my friend.
It is sadly true. They're going to be, as you mentioned earlier, they're going to be putting GPS on cars to know where you drive. They're going to be able to control everything you do. It's a little bit frightening.
Well, but don't you and I mean, don't people that think about it make the point that we try to get people to understand is whether they're taxing cigarettes, and so people quit smoking.
Right.
Well, that revenue's got to come. He says there's got to be another home for that. I mean, it can't remain homeless. It has to find a home.
Right.
So now they say, since we're going to have a solar panel on top of our whatever it is that's small, and we're not going to pay gas taxes, we got to pay mile taxes.
Right.
And to do that, we got to put a GPS so you can get,
Right, everything. This is a president who is taxing cigarettes to levels unheard of before, and he's doing it with a pack of Newports in his pocket. I mean, the hypocrisy never ends here. But it's a regressive tax. I mean, as a libertarian, and I prefer regressive taxes that everyone pays. It's more like the fair tax at the point of sale tax. And clearly lottery tickets, sales tax, clearly cigarette and liquor taxes are regressive taxes paid by those who choose to use it.
Right.
So it's not that bad if you have to have taxes, but having said that, the desire by the Democrats to control our behavior through everything that they do, it wants you making me thinner because they tax soft drinks and chocolates and things like that. And he can pick an industry. And if he doesn't like your industry or that you're not paying enough lobbying money or donation money, he'll come after you.
Well, the consensus of thought in government it continues to be that you're unable to make decisions for yourself.
Sure.
Only they can make decisions for you, and everything that they do is for your good.
Right. That gives them the cocktail chatter, the ability to say how great they are and what they've done for other people and how brilliant they are. Because, the average person can't think for themselves. You have to have an Ivy League degree, like Obama, to think for other people. So they're so proud of their ability to do that.
Well, what about Al Frankenstein as he takes the Senate seat from?
Well, historically we never elected a comedian knowingly. Usually we find out later they're comedians once they're in office. But Al Franken is universally disliked by people that know him. I've heard more people say he's just a jerk. Honestly, I don't think he'll get reelected. He won. He probably didn't win, but he won through lawyers. He had a very brilliant strategy when the race was close. He had his lawyers all of a sudden just go in on all the precincts that were friendly to him. As you can imagine, what precincts would be Democrat friendly in Minnesota, and they just camped out there. And suddenly, and over time, they found more votes for him, and that's what it took to win. He did that to win. He'll be the 60th vote, which is frightening because they can pretty much do what they want to do. Byrd and Kennedy are ill. They're not coming to the Senate very often, so that's a little bit mitigated to some degree of the 60 votes. But right now, they've got a window, and Obama knows they have that window, and they're jamming through everything, not even reading the bills, as you indicated. Stimulus bill, didn't read it. Cap and trade, didn't read it. I mean, they just, in the middle of the night, they're putting 300 some odd pages worth of pork for
304 pages. And so the representative, Marcy, what's her name?
Ohio?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she gets, I mean, 3.4, but the enormity of the pork, the piglets that were in that stimulus was just,
right.
you know, and at the same time, the guy stands up there and says, we're not going to do that anymore.
No, there's been no transparency. He's some of his watchdog people he's replaced very quietly and without the eye of the press making an issue of it. It's a little scary what he's doing. There's no transparency here. He stopped they said he was going to have a list of the people who visit the White House because there was concern that Bush had certain people visit the White House. He hasn't done that. Whoever visits the White House is still private. In fact, almost everything he's done, be it Iraq, Afghanistan, and even Guantanamo Bay, has kind of been the Bush policy. If you think about what he's done, he's almost validated what Cheney and Bush did in many ways, but he's done it subtly, and somehow it's cool because he's done it.
Well, reading a piece, and I don't know whether Rasmussen or I don't know which poll it was, Gallup might have been, when they were talking about the popularity of the president's popularity and how that was split out. And then they talked about, and I believe that 18% of the respondents were on heavy narcotics because 18% said they thought Congress was doing a good job.
Yeah.
There is such common disdain for politicians. And if you try to get away from it, you got the governor of South Carolina who just moves you right up to the front of the line, don't you? I mean, just a randy little devil, is he not?
Apparently, and also very talkative once he does stuff. I don't want to hear this.
Right.
I mean, he's like we're not his therapist. He's like call a press conference and yeah, there was one other in high school. I mean, I don't want to hear all this stuff. And I know his kids don't want to hear it. I think the guy, Mark Sanford, had a breakdown. I think he denied the stimulus money. He had a lot of pressure. I think he's gone half nuts. And I like the guy. Actually, I thought he was a presidential contender. I love the notion of him turning stimulus money back to the federal government because it had strings attached. I've heard him speak. I've been on some panels with him. I think was a good guy. I don't know what happened to him. I'm amazed. And his poor wife. I mean,
oh man.
I mean, it's tough. But I am told, however, though, I mean, he did get her a shot glass at the Buenos Aires airport. Brought her home a shot glass. So that should...
What I like is his Argentine amour. He was counseling her on how to save her marriage.
Yeah,
you know?
He's a giver, apparently. Yeah, and the people of South Carolina are going to be very upset with him because they're going to say to themselves, "Well, we chopped liver. There's no women in South Carolina good enough for you. We got to outsource it."
See, and I didn't think about that, but that is the ultimate insult,
especially for a textile state like South Carolina.
Right,
they hate
go
that.
to South America to find a honey.
I know, we got to work on that. There's
Okay.
a lot of Hooters in South Carolina. Come up with something.
Ron Hart, News View. We'll be right back.